right. Hey, welcome back to the Talking to Teens show. And today we are going to talk about, you know what? I'm dating. Now what? Okay. So that is what we are going to talk about today. So for those of you who maybe aren't even dating yet, and for those of you that maybe you just started dating, or even for those of you that have been like dating for a while, which, as a teenager, really sometimes this is how I feel that a lot of times teenagers, like a long time to teenagers is like a month or two. And hey, that can be a long time, right? But I do know some teenagers that have dated for like a couple of years already. So I'm like, wow, holy smokeroonies. And I do know some teenagers that they dated like all 4 years of high school and they go off to college, and you know what, they never get married. Like, they end up dating somebody else and actually end up marrying someone else. And even though maybe they thought they were going to marry each other, and then they just don't, because that time with each other is over, and that's not who they want to spend the rest of their life with. So when you do date, okay, so if you just got in this relationship or you're about to, and now you're like, okay, well, now what what do I do? What's to expect, right? Because sometimes when you date, it's kind of like you're excited about it because it's the excitement of having the boyfriend, of having the girlfriend. So that's the fun part. That's the exciting part. And then once that's over, you're like, okay. It's kind of like being a senior in high school, right? You look forward to that and like, oh my gosh, yes, can't wait to be a senior. And then you become that senior and you're like, oh, that's it. This is it. That's what all this time I've been looking forward to this. And that's it. It's like not a big deal. Okay. Sorry for those of you who are going to be a senior, or for those of you that are looking forward to being a senior and you're like, gosh, way to go, Shauna, way to ruin that for me. But maybe you're going to be different and you're not going to think that way. But usually that's kind of how it is. Okay. Sorry to burst the bubble. But anyway, back to the dating thing. Okay. So if you've begun to date and now, like I said, you're like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? What's the expectation here? So many times, okay, there's different expectations. So what the guy expects and what the girl expects is not always the same thing. So you can actually even let me know, all right, within responses here within the show, okay? You can let me know what you as a guy expect when you date, and girls, what you expect when you date, all right? So here's something that you both should be expecting when you date. That is this someone I can spend the rest of my life with? And I know that, hey, you might be an eighth grader and you are in a dating relationship. I know you're not thinking about marriage necessarily. Well, you shouldn't be, kind of, hey, you're in eighth grade. Okay. You should not be thinking like that you're going to be getting married next week, next year, or, it doesn't mean you can't be thinking of, hey, I'd like to be married someday, but that's not the same as you getting married within the next year, month, whatever, okay? So it's not the same thing, is it? But when you do date someone, that should be what you are thinking. Can I spend the rest of my life with this person? Is this someone, the characteristic of this person that I'd want to spend the rest of my life with? Because hey, we date who we marry. Okay. So you don't, at least in the American culture, right? We don't just like randomly marry someone. Although, yeah, sometimes people do. What's that show, 90 Day Fiance? All right. Like, seriously, would you really want that to be you, that you don't even know the person, and then within 90 days, then you end up marrying the person? That's a little scary to me. Like, oh my gosh. No, thank you. I would not want to do that. So when you are dating someone, especially the higher the grade, and even when you're not even in school, okay, so hey, 19, still a teenager, dating, that should be what you're thinking. Can I be with this person for the rest of my little life? And if you're feeling it like this, oh my gosh, to be with that person for the rest of my life? And if that like scares you, then you definitely know that is not the person for you. And you know what? Sometimes people don't want to get married. I know adults that, don't get married. They date, but as soon as the like, hey, let's take this further. I think that, wow, by now we've been dating for 5 years, that we could maybe, hey, get married. I know people that when that scenario happens that bam, you know what? Okay, goodbye, see you later, even though they dated for like a really long time. But because they are absolutely, I am not getting married, then they end that relationship. And then they get into another relationship. And when that conversation comes up again, then they're like, okay, see ya. And it's over. And they don't have a problem ending the relationship and just saying bye bye. Which, okay, I guess there's some positives to that in the sense that they don't have a problem ending the relationship. And that's the same for you. Do not date someone because, all right, you feel sorry for them and maybe you don't want to be in that relationship, but because you're like, gosh, but man, I feel bad if I break up with them. I feel bad that, you know, they're not going to have anybody around. Don't, no. And I'm not saying to be so insensitive, like, well, who cares? Don't even care what they think, don't even care how they feel. I'm not saying, like, to be that kind of person either. I'm saying it in the sense, like, don't date people because you feel sorry for them. Another thing, don't date someone because they like you, all right? That you never even thought about liking them. You're like, "Oh, hey, okay. I don't know you, I've never seen you before, but because you like me, all right, we can date. I'll be your girlfriend. I'll be your boyfriend, okay?" None of that stuff, all right? And yes, in the midst of your dating, you do start to get to know them a little bit more, but hey, oh my gosh, I'm dating now. What? So as you continue to maybe get to know that person, true colors start to really shine through, and that really is not the person for you. You do need to end it like bam, right away. And just like, hey, I don't think it's going to work out. We're just not going in the same direction. And you do need to end it because you can't stay in a relationship. You can, okay, but don't stay in a relationship because you think that you should. All right. I hope that's making sense. Again, when I said because you feel sorry for them and you think you should, or because they suddenly like you. And now the other one is because you feel like you should stay dating because you want a relationship. Those are not reasons why you date and why you're like, okay, well, then now what? So, in the now what, I'm dating, now what are you going to do? Because when you're in a dating relationship, see, that changes, doesn't it? Changes the status, doesn't it? And it changes where you are now because you're not just friends. And hey, don't be friends with benefits. All right. Okay. Because you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Don't just be dating because now you can go even further. And don't date because now, hey, guess what? I can have sex. Woo! All right. Don't be dating the person for that reason. But now, when I'm saying, okay, now I'm dating, now what? Sex should not be part of that. So when I'm saying, now what? Okay, what do I do? Don't date and do married things in your dating. So that's a big X, as in no, 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 no. All right, that's not what you should be doing. That is not the next step. And I know so many teenagers because they think, well, I'm dating and that's what people do. No, that's what married people do. All right? They have sex. Married people have sex. Not dating people should not be having sex because once you start doing that, it's harder to stop doing that. So when you're dating, the beforehand even you should be saying, "Okay, well this is what I'm going to do when I date." So now that I am dating, where does your list of here's what I'm going to do when I start dating? Are you going to hold hands? Are you going to kiss? Are you going to make out? Those are things that you need to actually be thinking about before you date. But now that you are dating, what are you going to do? What's next? Because, like I said, the relationship changes. You and that person, now you are in a relationship. But that doesn't mean that you need to just be doing all kinds of things. Hey, if you want to hold hands, okay, then you can kind of think about that, okay? But it doesn't mean that you have to be going and doing all these, like I said, married things, okay? And also, what's next is, yeah, what? What's next? I'd love to know. So please do share that with me. What is next? So, what do you want to be doing with this person? And what is it that you have done because you think that maybe you should have, because you thought that's what you were supposed to do? Because so many times teenagers and, they get into relationships and you think you're supposed to do this. You think you're supposed to be this person and do these things. But that's not true. Okay. You need to do, and when I'm saying what makes you comfortable, okay, if sex makes you comfortable, that still should not be something. All right. Making out, doing those things, that actually leads you to sex. All right. So if you do not want to be having sex in your relationship, then you need to, like, whoa, slow the horses there and think about what it is that you're doing. But truly think about what you want this relationship to be. What is next within this relationship? Because who do you want to be? What's your character? All right, in this, are you jealous? Are you possessive? Are you obsessive? Are you those things? Or do you just, kind of enjoy being with this person? You like the time that you can spend. Because once again, what's next? So many times it does become obsessive. So many times it does become where you're so possessive and that you're like, just freaky, crazy psycho. Do you want to be that? So, what's next in your dating? I remember hearing this movie star person, I remember him saying in this interview, because he had just gotten married, they asked him about his marriage, and he said, well, you know what? If it doesn't work out, we can just get divorced. But oh my golly, that's not even what you should be thinking. So that's why I'm saying, you need to be thinking, is this someone I could actually spend the rest of my life with? Not someone I can spend a few weeks with, months with, years with, and then break up with them, in marriage wise, and then divorce them. So when you're dating this person, that's what is next, that you're still thinking that. Is this someone I can spend the rest of my life with? Is this someone that I can share things with? Are they trustworthy? Are they, do we have a good time in the sense like friendship? Do I really want to and can I talk with this person? Do they listen to me? Because that's a lot of the reasons why teenagers will get into a relationship, especially when you don't feel that you are heard from your parents. And that's one of the biggest things why teenagers jump into a relationship, because their parents don't listen to them. Their parents are not participating in your life. So then you want a relationship because you want to have someone listen to you, to hear you, to do things with you. And is that what's next? Okay, that now you have this relationship, and now it's because you want someone to what? Take you on a date, pay for some things. You want to what with this person? What is your reason why you are dating? So what's next for you in this newfound dating relationship? Or again, if you have been dating this person for a while, couple months, a couple days, all right, for some teenagers that is a long time. Is that you've been together for 2 days? Shauna, we've been dating for 2 days. Hey, okay, that's really good. But is this person good for you? Okay, and are you good for that person? So those are things you need to be thinking about and checking yourself. And when you're dating, yeah, what's next? What's next in this relationship? Because usually that is what's next. Is you date, you've got to know that person a little bit, and wow, okay, I think we could, after, we date a little bit longer, we kind of really get to know each other and their families and who this person is, the character of that person and the character of myself. Is your character changing now that you are with this person? If you have dated them for a while, and now who have you become? Those are things that you kind of need to be paying attention to, especially if you've dated, like I said, for a while. So if there's shows that you want to have, you know what, let me know, because I think I'm definitely going to make a show on sex, okay? Teens and sex. And I'm deciding if I want to do that one live. So you can let me know in the response here, but let me know what you think, because I'm definitely going to be making a show about that soon. Very, very soon. Okay. But today, again, what's next? So you're dating. Now what? You like this person. Now what? Just because you like someone and you really think you do want to be in a relationship with them, it's okay if you're not. All right. That's normal for you to like people, to be attracted to them. But when you now date them and you're in a relationship with them, things change. The dynamic of the relationship changes. Sometimes even people, once they've kind of gotten to a relationship, they were totally friends and then they started dating, and then you know what? They stopped being friends. For whatever reason, they're not friends anymore. There's like no relationship anymore and they never talk again. So what's next? Okay, within your dating time now. And is it ruining things, or, just how do you feel? All right. Are you glad that you took that next step? Because sometimes people aren't. Because like I said, sometimes they're not because that woohoo, the fun and oh my gosh, you that excitement of that relationship now is over. So that's why a lot of times people just jump from relationship to relationship to relationship because they like that initial excitement of the what's happening and those feelings and those little butterflies and how they feel around this person. Do I love them? Is it love? And you're figuring those things out. And sometimes that's why you jump into relationships because, hey, you think that you love them. And I'm not saying that you don't. Okay. And I'm not saying teenagers are incapable of love because you're not. All right. You are not incapable of love. You definitely can love, but you want to make sure that it is real love, not just infatuation, so called love, because there's a difference definitely between that. And you know what? That'll be another show, okay? About infatuation and love. What's the difference? That's going to be another show that will be coming up also. So I just wanted to kind of quickly just talk about this with your dating stuff. What's next? And just give you some stuff to think about, okay? And just to let you know also that, you know what? You don't have to jump into things right away, okay? You can take your time and you should. All right. Now that you're dating this person, don't be in a hurry. Take your time and just, enjoy the person's company. If they want to spend time with friends, you know what? Guess what? Let them. You do not have to be the person that they spend every waking second with. Okay. And you don't have to be in constant just the contact with that person. That's okay that you're not. All right. All right. So just nod your head and agree with me. Yes, Shauna. Okay, Shauna. I won't be freaky psycho crazy. All right. Now that I am officially dating this person. And because, if you are that, then that's a big sign you need to not be in a relationship. All right. So that's just a nice little thing to remember if that's what you've become and that's what you're seeing and finding yourself being. But again, don't be in a hurry, okay, to be doing married things because if you're not married, then guess what? Don't be doing those things. So keeping it simple, keeping things at a very lower level. Again, just because you're dating doesn't mean you have to be making out and going up their shirt and going down their pants and taking off your clothes. All right. That should not be giving you the okay because, well, I'm dating this person now, so we can do those things. Well, yeah, you can, but you don't even have to be dating to do those things. Not that I'm telling you to do those things. It's not just because you're dating and now you can. Think about, okay, what are your standards? Where do I want this relationship to go? And when it ends, because a lot of times they do, where do I want to be in myself? Like the thinking, man, I'm so glad I did not do what, or be regretting, golly, man, I wish I would not have done this because most of the time, teen relationships do not last. All right. And it doesn't mean that every single one. Okay. Because yeah, hey, there's some that do last. There's some that actually they do get married and, hey, things are great, but that's not the majority of teen relationships. So just saying. All right. And that's what you need to be thinking. What are things that I don't want to do because I don't want to regret doing? And what are things that I will do and I'll be okay with? All right. That I'm not going to look back and say, man, I wish I would not have. Because we all look back and say those things or think, wow, you know what? I am so stinking proud of myself because I never did do this, especially with that person. Man, I'm so happy that I never did this. So think about that and don't be in a hurry just because you're dating. And now what? All right. Like I said, please, you know what? Feel free to let me know, answer that question, the rest of the story on that. I think that's all I want to say about this topic today. And we're definitely going to be getting into more shows. So, keep watching, keep letting me know what you would want to see for another show and another time. And if I should, which I do want to go live. All right. So you can let me know about that if you would be interested in seeing the live action shows with Talking to Teens. And all right. So thanks for watching. And I will definitely be seeing you, okay, in the next Talking to Teens show. All right.